want to ask you guys about this Pat McAfee thing.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
I'm stunned by this. If Pat McAfee finds himself in another controversy.
Through no fault of his own.
So Pat McAfee has Aaron Rodgers Tuesday.
Mm-hmm.
And all of this because Aaron Rodgers went after Travis Kelce for doing commercials for a pharma company.
The coronavirus.
With things that we're not allowed to talk about on this show.
Right.
Travis Kelce is in commercials promoting Pfizer's flu and COVID vaccines. Aaron Rodgers on Tuesday on the Pat McAfee Show went after him and challenged him to a debate because Kelce and others went back at Aaron Rodgers and was like, hey, don't know if you know this, your owner is the guy who is the heir apparent and owned Johnson & Johnson. Like the company Johnson & Johnson who makes
the thing
that goes in your arm and stuff. And so Aaron was like, well, let's debate it then. And so naturally, people are like, why is Aaron Rodgers Tuesday a thing? Oh, that's right, because Pat McAfee pays Aaron Rodgers a ton of money and has paid him. And Pat McAfee told Andrew Marchand at the New York Post, I've paid Aaron Rodgers more than $1 million to come on our show. And you'd have thought that Aaron Rodgers kicked somebody's puppy. And you'd have thought that Pat McAfee, slapped somebody's mama. Why is this a thing? The comment section today on this story on X, bro. I also got chastised in DM because I won't say X. I say Twitter. Whatever.
I'm not calling it that. I'm calling it Twitter.
On Twitter, the comment section is ridiculous on this story. And people are calling Pat McAfee a sellout and a fraud. And do you think any football player goes on a show every week? What do you think Nick Saban's getting paid to go on Pat McAfee's show every Thursday? What do you think? Do you think Aaron Rodgers just shows up on his show and not get paid for it?
Well, that's what people thought because it was sold that Aaron Rodgers and Pat McAfee are friends.
They're friends because he's on his show every Tuesday. So they built a relationship. And he's on his show because who co-hosts the last 2 hours of the Pat McAfee Show? A.J. Hawk, the former Packer linebacker, who is really good friends with Aaron Rodgers.
Right.
But Aaron Rodgers is a businessman. This isn't Pat McAfee selling out. Can you put a price tag on Aaron Rodgers coming out of the darkness and going on Pat McAfee's show 2 days later?
No.
Nope. I don't understand the hate for Pat McAfee.
Yeah, I just think that it is. First of all, his style is you either like it or you hate it. It's not like, oh, yeah, well, Pat's on. I guess I'll listen to that. No, it's like I love Pat or I hate Pat.
Yes.
And that's
Correct.
part of it. And I think that Aaron Rodgers is the same way. You either love Aaron Rodgers and respect him and think he's the best quarterback of his generation, or you hate him and he's never going to be Tom Brady. And
Correct.
I happen to be you're never going to be Tom Brady because you don't know how to win another Super Bowl. And it's been way too long since you've won anything. And so when you combine that with Pat McAfee style and short shorts and wearing a tank top and going against the grain, you're going to get some noise. And that's the reality of our world. And I'm with you, though. I don't know how this is any type of story. Paying people talent fees to come on your show is part of the business.
We do it all the time with football players. In the world of NIL, you don't get, like last year, Harris LaChance at BYU or, you guys. This is, and I'm not going to name the quarterback, but a starting quarterback in the National Football League asked us for $250,000 to come on our show. We went through their agent and said, hey, we'd like this person to appear in our show. That'll be $250,000. Now, Monty ain't got $250,000.
Yeah.
You know. Pat McAfee's not a sellout. How is Pat McAfee a sellout?
Well, I think that, and the other thing before we move on from this is the ESPN factor. So Pat's been working with Aaron since before ESPN.
Yes.
But Pat's show has changed a lot now that it's on ESPN.
I would agree with that.
It's changed.
I would agree.
I think it's changed less than people thought it may have initially. But it seems like every day I'm getting someone from ESPN on the show. Whether it's Dana White today, who has a partnership with ESPN, obviously through the UFC, or it's Adam Schefter, or it's whoever, Dan Orlovsky. And I'm not even complaining about these guys themselves. That's not my point.
Correct.
My point is that if you're ESPN, your value here is running all your personalities through Pat's show. Pat's value is getting paid whatever he's getting paid from ESPN. And now everyone's outraged that he's having to pay guys who are not ESPN talent to come on his show. What did you think it was going to be? Did you think that he was just going to, try to get people on the show for free? Well, no, that's not how it works.
And he's being paid $50 to $80 million a year by ESPN.
Yeah.
And he's on all of their shows.
So do you really think he gives a damn about paying Aaron Rodgers? Probably. This is a guess, but probably $200,000 an appearance. Probably.
No, he's paying him $250,000 a season to be on his show, and he pays him like they play Edgewood Tahoe together every year at the Celebrity Golf Championship. This is how the world works now. This is not surprising at all. Brandon Butler, what's up, my guy? Pat and Prime are in the same boat with me. I'm seeing them on my TV far too much. There is a burnout factor with Pat McAfee.
Yeah.
And that was something that Andrew Marchand at the New York Post talked about today. He's omnipresent on ESPN. He does hits on SportsCenter now. He is on College Game Day. He is on College Game Days. A lot of times he stays and does their broadcast.
Mm-hmm.
He's on their network fully across their network, except radio, because Pat didn't want to do radio for them. He is on ESPN 3 hours fully every single day. They are promoting him. They are running ads for him. They are paying him and his staff and his guests. There's no getting away from it.
Yeah, and I think that what people forget is, for ESPN's side of this, the Pat McAfee Show and Pat McAfee are two different things.
Yes.
Right? So the Pat McAfee Show has its time slot, but then Pat McAfee as an individual, just himself, is a talent for ESPN now, which
and
they're going to leverage.
One.
Yeah, they're going to leverage him highly. And so to me, I think that, yeah, and I said this before the merger happened, you got to be careful not to burn your audience out on one guy. It came out the other day that Stephen A. Smith and First Take are dominating Undisputed since Shannon Sharp joined that show. And to that I say, hey, that's great. Because the reason is because Undisputed's terrible. And in that time slot, there's not really another option.
But have we watched one time? And I think we're pretty representative of the average sports fan. We consume a ton of sports talk every single day.
Yeah.
Have we ever had on the massive 9,000-inch TV in our studio, have we ever had First Take on?
Nope.
Have we ever had I will never watch Undisputed. We've never had it on.
Undisputed, it doesn't even cross my mind. Honestly, it doesn't cross my mind to watch Undisputed. I don't even think about it.
Even Colin Cowherd. We don't listen to or watch him anymore.
You know what it is?
Occasionally used to.
It's what you said last time we talked about this. Colin just feels canned now. He just feels, it doesn't feel like, that's the one thing I do like about Pat's show. At least with Pat's show, love him or hate him, it is organic talk. They do have topics, but at least, hey, it's organic feeling. The Aaron Rodgers interview, as an example, very much feels like two bros talking about whatever they're talking about. It's not like, hey, this is a serious interview. Pat does a great job with that.
But is it that there's nothing going on in sports? Because it's been a very slow 6, 8, 10 months now in sports. Somebody in the NBA needs to go crazy. We need the NBA season to start. There's not a lot going on in sports. And there's a lot of people now who are saying, well, sports has been pretty slow. That's probably why Pat's struggling to, assimilate to ESPN or fit in, or because ESPN's taken a lot of blowback. Twitter lit up ESPN today when Dana White was on Pat's show cursing left and right. And they were joking about it, and he cursed back at Dana jokingly. People were really upset about that.
Yeah.
I just think we have too much time on our hands. If we're concerned about 4-letter words, which we try not to say on this show and occasionally do, I think if that's our biggest complaint, it is a slow news day.
Yeah.
It is. There's no question about it. But I don't know. I can't see paying Even if we had the money, and I cannot afford to pay an NFL quarterback $250,000 a year, could you see paying somebody $250,000 a football season to come on your show?
No, I'd rather put that into my business. Upgrade the business.
Yeah. Mike Smith, I think they pay Saban to be on his show as well. Oh, absolutely.
100%, yeah.
Not sure what it makes a difference. Oh, I think it makes a huge difference. He broke the Jalen Milroe news on Pat McAfee show. Like, Nick Saban, and I'm sure you guys know this, Nick Saban is going to do something for ESPN all the time. He has a great working relationship with the four-letter. He just does. And I think people, this is a thing that I will also say, I think people really like Pat. Athletes, actors, entertainers really like Pat McAfee. And I think he's a really likable guy. But I think there's a sect of Americans who are like, why don't you put on a jacket, put on a shirt, put on a quarter zip, for crying out loud? And I think the other week when he was calling his tape talk a beater, pissed a bunch of people off.
Yeah.
Doesn't offend me. But hey, Jim R., let's run through some of your comments here before Prize Picks. Jim R. says, never been on Twitter. Life goes on. Oh, come on. You've never been on Twitter. Is that
Congratulations, but that's bullshit.
Boss Frog, Monty, I'll pay you $10 to have Salty on the show and spit out his infinite NBA wisdom. Why?
Whatever.
Why, boss? Why poke the Australian bear? So for those of you who Salty Drunk is a huge Josh Giddey fan. And I made the mistake of, giving my opinion.
I'm sorry if you're offended by that.
Which, God forbid in this country, if you give your opinion, I gave the opinion that most people in the NBA, I think, agree with me. Austin Rivers is far more important. Austin Reeves. I said Rivers. Austin Reeves. Thank you, Jake.
Mm-hmm.
Stay hard.
Austin Reeves is far more important to the Lakers than the Australian sensation Josh Giddey and his bro-fro are to OKC.
Hell out of here with that.
I don't think Josh Giddey is irreplaceable for the Oklahoma City Thunder, and he has been DMing me about it. He has been talking about it in the group, saying that we should stick to football because we don't know.
Chain you to a pipe.
We don't know. You don't know what you're talking about in the NBA. Yeah, how did you find us? Because we were talking about the NBA.
Oh.
Right? Like, yeah, we just broke the Rudy Gobert news, and we've broken like 20 trades in the last 2 years, but we don't know anything about the NBA.
Do you know what that's like these days?
And now Boss Frog's got to show up on the show poking the Australian bear.
It would be a kangaroo.
I'm sorry, the Australian crocodile, mate.
Yeah, thank you.
Well, you got to poke the crocodile, mate.
Yeah, thank you.
Because he's probably not listening. He's not. I'll go on the show for $2. Well, when it's time to talk Porsches, we'll have you on.
Well said.
Jeff Woodworth, bring Gumby on the show. You could blur his face and disguise his voice. Free Gumby. We want Gumby. Gumby's not in prison. He's not in prison. Giggity says Josh Middy.
Josh Middy.
Just Josh Middy. Like instead of
like
Josh
he's
Giddey.
like he's mid.
Like Josh Giddey. Josh Middy.
Yeah, like he's mid.
That's my guy.
Yeah.
But we got to come golf. Are you going to go to a spring training baseball game with us, Giggity, or what? My God.
Yeah, come on.
He would not meet with us when we were in Phoenix last time. Was like, no, you guys smell. Okay.
Are you out of your goddamn mind?
I tried.
It's not about what you try to do.
We did meet, and actually we did go to dinner. Boss Frog, that was total sarcasm. Whew, I was concerned. I was not concerned. Mike Smith, boss, I like that idea. At the very least, it would be entertaining. Okay. Jim R says Keanu Reeves. Yeah, Keanu Reeves is far more important than the Lakers. Keanu Reeves is more important to the Lakers than Austin Rivers or Doc Rivers, frankly.
Yeah,
so,
I mean, John Wick is a good dude.
Shonsky says we fence for Gumby.
Dude,
It's a wee fence.
I don't know where Buddy went, dude.
Connor Johnson, beaver emoji. Thank you.